Hi, thanks for tuning in. I'm Cecilia Manella, and I hop on here every single week to share some mental health tips and tricks on how to improve your wellness in your life and to make you feel really powerful and control what's happening to you. Today, we're going to talk about values. Now, there's going to be a link attached here where you can download my values worksheet, which I really encourage you to do. And you can use it to get really refocused on values. Now, we talk a lot about values, but I just want to situate it and frame it just a little bit for you. So values are what we deem to be important. And that's different than beliefs because beliefs are actually what we deem to be true. So we often use that term values and beliefs interchangeably, but they're different things. Values are what you think are really important to you, and beliefs are what you believe to be true. So how are values an asset to you? Your values are an asset because they can be used to help you make decisions. They can be used to help ground yourself in what's happening when things feel really chaotic. They can be used in relationships and how you connect with other people, how you show up in the world. Values are part of our core of who we are. And it's really important to know which values are the most important to you. Now, we all want to have all the values that are out there. When you look at the list of values, if you download our worksheet, there's, I think, about at least 50 to 60 different values, and you're going to go through them, and you're going to go 80% of them, you're going to check off, and you're going to want them. Here's a way to really narrow down your values, because the truth is you can only really hold about 5 values in your life, 5 top values. And because anything more than that, we lose track of. And it just sounds really sexy. It sounds like it's something we should value, but it's actually not something that's part of our heart. So what you want to do is you want to go through the workbook and you just want to check off all the values that you see listed that you're like, yes, this is important to me. This is important to me. And go through it and check them all off. And then I want you to go through it again with a different color pen or underlying things instead. And I want you to rethink the ones that you've checked off. And I want you to think about whether they can fall into categories. So things like integrity, honesty, truthfulness, they can all fall into one category potentially of honesty or integrity. So we can kind of build in these, major headers for values and have all the little ones below it. So you want to look at what is the most important. What is the word that sticks out to me that is the most important? And I want you to go through it over and over and over again until you can narrow it down to 5, maybe 8. You're pushing it if you've got 8, but for sure 5. And I want you to journal about those. Write those out, put them somewhere you can see them, and spend some time really focusing on your top 5 values and see if you practice them in your life. So that's the other piece of it. One is actually deciding and connecting to your values. The other piece, which is really important, is practicing them. How do I live into them? It's all about behavior. So we can say lots of things. Words are really cheap, but it's our actions that really dictate what we actually value and how we show up in the world and show people what's important to us. So if you have a value of integrity, then I want you to spend some time filtering that in your life. How does integrity show up? How do I demonstrate that to the people in my life? How do I demonstrate that to myself? And start tracking some of the actions that you take that fall into that value. Now, why is this important? Because we get lost. We get lost in social media. We get lost in other people. We get lost in all the demands and the stress and everything that's on us. And we lose track of who we are. And knowing who we are makes us feel calmer. So there's a lot of anxiety in the world and there's a lot of uncertainty and they're all external. And this is a way to remember who you are and what is important to you. What is in your heart? What is in your mind? What is it that you practice every single day? What is it that you value and deem important? And it usually signifies the legacy that we're leaving. So how people experience us is connected to our values that we show up and behave into and act out our values. So I want you to go through and do the values list. And then I want you to spend a week writing and taking note about how those values are actually expressed in your life, how you show up differently. And if you're not showing up in the way that you want to, you have this magical ability to change. You can look at the value that's important to you and you can ask yourself, how can I practice this? How can I show up differently? How can I show the people around me and show myself that I'm living into these values? So I hope you found this helpful. Enjoy the exercise. It can be super fun. And it helps just level up your life and feel more grounded in who you are. See you next week.